back at the Family YMCA in Houston, Texas. My name is Dave Vincent for stop number 3 on the Race for 8 season number 2, as we are here alongside Dave Fink, getting ready for this great matchup between Charlie Shanks and Andy Nett. There's going to be a lot of power here. Hopefully, we're going to see some broken balls. Now, I say hopefully because this is one of the only sports where it kind of is frowned upon when a ball breaks. People get really angry and upset. But when Roy Hobbs did it for the New York Knights, he got a front page story.
So movies are sports now?
Well, yeah, it was a fictional character.
I'm just trying to
in the movie The Natural,
figure that out.
When he took the cover off the ball, it was actually a great thing. And I know Paul Newman's character covered that well in the paper, and I thought possibly
that actually was Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall, sorry.
Paul Newman doesn't play news reporters.
Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
So you do watch television with the volume up?
Movies.
Okay.
Only.
Well, here we're going to see some of that, I have a feeling, is a few broken balls. We've only had 2 in the whole tournament, and that was from the hand of Aaron Garner, Alan's younger brother, who's having a success story here as well.
Dave, I know you're a historian. Is this the tallest matchup of all time in pro handball? We've got Andy Nett, who's listed at 6'4", Charlie Shanks, who's listed at 6'3". Now, has there ever been a match with 2 taller players combined? I mean, we've got 2 towers in there right now, Dave. These guys could be playing power forward in college basketball, yet here they are, 2 of the top 8 handball pros. Both guys, Dave, put on a slam dunk show last night. I mean, Dave, there were literally women coming out of the spinning room to watch this dunk contest. They actually raised $700 for it, which Andy and Charlie split. Both guys, Dave, scored perfect 10s on their final dunk. Andy with a windmill 2-hand reverse, and Charlie just a one-handed throwdown. He took off, Dave, from just after the free throw line. So they actually split the 700. Today they're not going to be splitting the prize money. But Dave, has there ever been 2 taller players? I mean, this would be the equivalent of, on the other end of the spectrum, Shorty Ruiz playing Armando Ortiz, but the reverse.
No, I don't have an answer for that. I thought maybe a John Bike, John Kindler type match, but I still don't believe they would be tall enough to go up against these twin towers, as our referee Alex Carpenter is going to get the 2 underway here on this court. Don't know what the wait is. It's been a 20-minute delay here between matches. I don't quite understand. But I'm growing to understand that that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let things flow.
Well, I have a problem with time, as you know.
Well, what is the diagnosis of that symptom?
Well, it's the name of the issue is Asperger's syndrome, which I guess I have to a slight degree, but I have a little problem with being late or people that don't adhere to time regulations.
It's funny because last time I went to dinner with you, you were 10 minutes late, so it doesn't seem that important to you.
Well, maybe I'm a hypocrite as well.
Could be. Yeah. I remember one time I went to dinner with you, or tried to. I was 45 seconds late, and you left me. So I guess
in the parking lot of the airport.
Well, it was only a $75 cab ride. It wasn't a big deal.
Shouldn't have been late. Okay, we're getting ready for Andy Nett going up against Charlie Shanks here in the announcement from our referee, Alex Carpenter. Alex will be stepping in to get it going, get this match going right now.
Okay. Andy Nett serving first against Charlie Shanks.
And there's that announcement from
Dave, these guys played in the last event for 5th place. It was an amazing match. Andy Nett winning that match 25-22. It was Andy's first ever win against a top 4 pro who was ranked top 4 at the time. But remember, Dave, Charlie Shanks just destroyed Andy Nett in Ireland at the World Championships. 2 very lopsided games, but Andy already off to a nice start here.
1 serving 0.
point. And And Dave, I'm predicting that we're going to see combined 14 unreturned serves
2 serving
in
0.
this match. Thus far, we haven't seen one.
There it is.
Point. Three serving 0. Point.
And this is pretty much, Dave, what the Dreamboat did to Abe Montillo this morning. Jumped on him. He scored 6 points in the first 55 seconds of the match.
Short. Second serve.
Terrible serve there. Charlie goes to the roof. Dave, Charlie, one of these guys that, to put it mildly, has an opinion about things.
0 serving 4.
We use the same kind of draw, Dave, that tennis uses at their Grand Slams for the race events now, which means the 3 and 4 seeds are drawn out of a hat to see whether they'll go on the top or bottom, and the 5 through 8 seeds are also drawn out of a hat to face the 1 through 4 seeds.
Side out.
So Charlie Shanks facing Andy Nett, who's the number 6
4 serving 0.
seed in this event, and Charlie Shanks the number 2 seed. So I guess he thinks he should have been playing the number 7 seed, but that's how it works out when you do a blind draw.
Zero serving 4. Short. Second serve.
That ball was
Point.
smoked.
1 serving 4.
Charlie Dave served 14, and that's
Side
a
out.
terrible error from Charlie. Charlie served 14 aces this morning against Vic Perez in his round of 16 match. That was not televised, but we did have that match covered by one of our staff reporters.
Side out. One serving 4.
1 to 4 here as Charlie trying to get into the groove with that serve. He's got an amazing serve. Dave, playing both of these guys, are there similarities between their serves, or are they different? They both have power. Charlie has more wrinkle than Andy does, but do you find yourself paddling their returns?
Well, I pretty much paddle all returns, but there is a slight difference. Charlie seems to hit his a little bit lower. He hits it with so much reverse that he's able to catch the front wall 6 inches high and still carry the short line because it spins off the front wall. Charlie seems to hit more cracks down the right. But without question, Dave,
Side out.
these guys have 2 of the best serves in the sport. And we saw Andy Nett's serve in full flight in the World Championship doubles final,
4
where
serving 3.
Michael Finnegan just simply couldn't return those serves down the right wall. And he's one of the great right side players in the sport.
Side out.
These guys, Dave, are men of few words, unless, of course, Charlie is talking about the draw or
3
the
serving
senior
4.
race for 8. Then he's a man of many words. And look at that amazing extension from Andy. Andy, Dave, uses his height so well. A lot of guys would just be reaching out and trying to flip that ball back, but Andy's so long, Dave, that he's able to
4 serving 3.
use that space and extend on that shot and flat roll.
Short. Second serve.
Andy, Dave, has played in a number of tournaments since Tucson. Most guys haven't played in any tournaments since Tucson, but Andy playing in the Milwaukee Classic where he lost in the final. Also, Dave played in a couple of doubles events in Minnesota, so he's always trying to stay sharp.
Three serving 4. Point.
There's a skip in from Andy Nett.
When you do the scorecard, Dave, with these two guys, there's a lot of red because they make a lot of unforced errors but hit a lot of kill shots also.
4 serving 4.
When I watched these guys play one another in Tucson, Dave, it was like watching Wimbledon of 10 years ago. It was no more than 3 shots in any rally. It was either ace, return of serve kill, or first strike kill. Now we're seeing extended rallies here.
Point.
And he banked himself behind Charlie there. Looked like he thought Charlie was going to go straight down the left, but Charlie just pinches the corner.
5
That's
serving 4.
sometimes, Dave, why those pinch kills are so effective, because as an opponent, you have to guess whether they're going to clip the sidewall first or the front wall. When you hit the wide corner kill, you know exactly as an opponent where to go.
If Charlie would have pushed that down the left
6
wall,
serving
though,
4.
he would have hit it right back at himself.
The one thing, Dave, I've noticed about Charlie is whatever shot you think he's going to hit, he's probably going to hit a different shot. He's got a very unorthodox shot selection. You know, Dave, you play against a guy like Dave Chapman, you know exactly where he's going to hit every shot. He just hits them so well that you have no chance to get him. Charlie, on the other hand, you have no idea where he's going to hit shots.
Seven serving 4.
Dave, I predicted that Natti Alvarado started his season too late to have any chance to qualify for Seattle.
Second serve.
Looks like I'm going to be eating my words, because he's already going to pick up a minimum of 6 points here, maybe more. He's very likely to be in the finals, which will be a minimum of 8 points. And he's never lost to anybody, Dave, on the bottom side of the bracket.
Point.
In fact, the only person, there's no one left in this field that Natti Alvarado has ever lost to.
Timeout.
That's right, Dave. Never lost to Alan Garner.
Score is 8.
He's never lost to Charlie Shanks. He's never lost to Andy Nett. I know that can be somewhat surprising.
Well, but he is 40 years old. He's also playing 2 ways.
Yeah.
He has to play yours truly. You said it was tonight. It actually is scheduled for tomorrow morning early, first thing. So he's got that to go up against, and I'm going to give him all I've got. So
is that a webcasted match?
Which isn't much.
No. Okay.
We don't webcast national champions and fat people. It's just something we don't do.
Okay.
I don't think people at home want to watch that either. So that's going to be at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's going to be right before his match at 12 o'clock, and that's something that he wants to do. So that was the format that he wants to give himself rest tonight, and he's going to just study up for tomorrow. But
so he's actually going to study tonight.
He has to go in and study.
Is that film study?
He studies. I mean, he's like Tony Gwynn.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So Natti Alvarado is certainly, you know, getting older, and I wouldn't say that. Let's just say, for example, that Alan Garner defeats Anthony Celesto. Natti Alvarado, on paper, is a better player, but there's no guarantee, Dave, that Natti Alvarado would defeat an Aaron Garner if he were to play him.
Well, there's no guarantee of anything, Dave. I'm just stating previous records. Natti has not lost to anyone that still remains in this event. Now, that's subject to change. I'm talking factually.
Okay, you're just bringing up just pure facts.
Yeah, I'm ideal in the black and white. I'm not in that gray area where you live.
9 serving 4.
This looks like the Charlie Shanks from Ireland here, 9-4. The Irish Charlie Shanks versus Andy Nett is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
When he completely dismantled Charlie.
Well, Charlie was very disappointed with his performance in Ireland as he lost Luis Moreno there in 2 games.
4 serving 9.
That's short. Good call from the referee. I know that Andy Nett got a lot of experience there in Ireland, and I think he's brought his game up since that point. Ball sounded like he broke it, but instead it was a double fault. Short ball and then a long ball from Andy Nett.
9 serving 4.
Amazing serve there from Charlie.
Point.
He's a player, Dave, where you can read the serve.
10 serving 4.
It doesn't crack out, and yet it's still almost impossible to return because it's just got so much heat and spin on it. Dave, you talked about how much Natti Alvarado likes this ball and how much better he plays with this ball. Charlie Shanks has been just the opposite. He has not had a lot of success with this ball. Even last year when he had that amazing breakthrough season, made the finals of the U.S. Open with the other ball, and did not make any finals with this hard ball.
Charlie is not a fan of the hard ball.
This year, Dave again made the finals of the U.S. Open with the softer ball.
You need to tell?
And of course, lost in the round of 8.
11 serving 4.
In the first stop of this year with the hard ball.
Charlie hitting the
side out.
It is a side out, and Charlie's not going to like this. That's house rules here.
What kind of rule is that?
That's a house rule
that you made up?
No, it's a house rule.
So you're playing by the rules that the locals use.
Yep.
So locals also play with gimme
earlier
putts at the Muni course. I mean, does that mean that when the pros go out there, they should play with gimmies?
Dave did.
It's just the way that the game is played. This is the rule. And Charlie's just going to have another thing to be upset.
Replay?
No.
Or side out?
It's another thing that Charlie will add to the list of the things that he hates about the tour. But hitting a ball out.
Actually, that list has become a book.
But let's dissect this just a little bit.
Okay.
If a strong server is serving and they're in the middle of a long rally and you feel like you want to jack a ball out into the stadium to get back into the server's box, how should that be fair?
Okay, let me address that. If you have enough control to jack the ball up into the stands, into the rafters, then you also have enough control to flat roll the ball. So why would you then use that great control to put the ball up into the crowd?
There are players that actually go practice it, Dave.
Side out?
I've been on the court while the players were actually practicing it. So it's a house rule here because they have a shorter back wall and players are doing it to get back in the server's box. The back wall isn't the regulation 18 feet high, it's 16 feet. It might look a little higher to you here. So they have a rule that you can't hit it out. And therefore we're following the house rules. They also have another house rule that there's a fire alarm dead center in the court, and if he hits that, it's a do-over. Now you recall at the KCAC at the pro stop we had there, they have a house rule.
I've never been there. I don't
there's a house rule where there's a light that can be hit, and we abided by that rule as well.
Well, I remember winning a match when my opponent hit that light that was headed out to the parking lot, and they decided to replay it.
Replay it.
That's a house rule.
The parking lot being 50 yards to the left of the actual court, but since it hit that light, hey, it's it's a replay.
And I know that we're hashing this over and over again, but you remember LAAC, where the rule was when you hit it over the side out back, it was a side out. That's exactly what this rule is. I don't see much of a difference here. I know you're being critical, but that's just the way the rules are.
I just don't agree that someone does that on purpose.
Well, I know for a fact that they do it on purpose, and that's why the rule exists.
So you're calling people liars then? Because I guarantee that Charlie Shanks would not say he did that on purpose.
I didn't say he did it on purpose, but there are players that do, and they're even in this tournament.
I know you're referring to Natti Alvarado when he beat Luis Moreno at the 2010 Plummer event.
It looked like a point.
He jacked 3 balls out of the court. He said, hey, I just need a break. And you forever clung to that story.
13
sadly.
serving 4.
I wouldn't categorize it as sadly.
Well, in my book, that is sad.
Point.
I know you and I read different books, though, so.
And this will be the last time I talk about it.
I doubt it will.
But
14 serving 4.
there was another player in that tournament that went into the court and purposely practiced, and it wasn't Naughty Alvarado, hitting balls into the stands so they can get back into the server's box. And if that exists out there, then
Slides on the serve.
Did they have their caddy with them so that he could run outside of the court into the locker room where the ball?
replay slides on the serve.
Yeah, replay it. Replay it.
I just want to see the rule book
slides.
with these rules that we're playing.
Oh, it's written down. It's at the tournament desk, and the players had to sign this when they checked in. Apparently, some of them didn't.
Ask the line.
You mean none of them did? Is what by some you mean none?
I wasn't there when I checked in. I was checking in my email.
Okay.
What's going on?
Appeal for a slide.
Does Charlie know that he's winning 15-4 here?
Yeah, but should be time. Should be side up. Alex. At 15, it's halftime. You know that. You have a. They're asking for an appeal on the slide call here, Dave. And that's
Well, I believe that the score is actually pending 15 based on this call.
Let's take a look to see if we can see a slide, which is very difficult to pick up here.
It did look like it slid. It was pretty clear.
Well. And this court does slide. Yeah, you can see it slide.
That was a huge slide. That went straight down the wall. Surprised our referee didn't see that.
I didn't see a slide either. And that's point and it's break.
It's a 15-point break here. And Charlie Shanks doesn't know that. He's once again going to have another thing to be upset about. As we have a 3-minute break, 1 game to 25. We'll take a break as well so we can feel the heat from the players when they come out here at Race for 8, season number 2, stop number 3. Stick with us.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
So, what's it gonna be? We could ride bikes, skating, movies, zoo, whatever you guys want to do.
Can we just do this?
Yeah. We could just do this.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Charlie serve. 15 serving 4.
You heard the score of 15-4 coming in after halftime with Charlie Shanks getting the serve. Andy Nett started the game. Charlie not realizing the quarterfinals is a one-game match to 25. He thought this was a straight, I don't know what format.
16 serving 4.
Well, interesting because he actually emails about the format daily.
But even if it was the other format that we use, he still would have scored the 15th point.
Yeah. And that hitting Andy, I think Andy thought that wasn't going to make it. Oh, okay, just getting the ball from Charlie and taking a jog. A jog, Dave, is when you run. It's
16 serving.
Those feet are moving, they're
running. Is that a soft, Jay? Is it yog?
Well,
a hog?
Some people pronounce it that way, yeah.
I call it
some
a
anchor
hog.
men do.
Yeah, contact.
You see Andy Nett here just not into any sort of groove, and Charlie now looks like the favorite in this tournament.
Well, remember, Dave, Charlie has never beat Natti Alvarado, so not sure that he's your favorite. But Dave, remember, Natti Alvarado will have to play his semifinal senior race for 8 match, then his semifinal race for 8 match,
16.
then before the final, should he make the final of the race for 8, he'll have to play the senior race for 8 final.
Side out.
So he's going to have an additional 2 matches tomorrow that whoever he plays in the finals won't
16
have.
serving 4.
And he's the oldest guy remaining in the event.
Boy, that's a laser from Charlie. You're right.
Does Natti have the option, Dave, and we've discussed this, I know, on the committee, to play the senior race for 8 after, the senior race for 8 final after the race for 8 final?
He can
16
if
serving 4.
his opponent wants to, but it does hinder the broadcast schedule.
Well, we would
Side
be
out.
announcing
we're not
for an
gonna have-
additional 40 minutes. I know you get paid by the minute here. You're like Michael Buffer. Actually, you get paid
4
by the
serving
word.
16.
It's actually nice of you, Dave, that
I don't talk as much,
Well.
and there's a reason for that.
that's because you're generous.
Oh, I'm a nice guy. Currently in last
5
place.
serving 16. Side out.
Charlie is moving his feet extremely well here.
16 serving 5.
It's a one-game match to 25. Foot fault, no call. Charlie just serving and shooting. Whatever he gets, he goes into a corner or drives it down a wall. This is really inspiring play here from Charlie, and I can
17 serving
see
5.
that the crowd here in Texas is stunned as well, because there's a lot of people here, Dave, that are leftovers from the Natti Alvarado match
Second serve.
that are just in awe. They don't have much to say. They're
This
watching
is-
a turbo machine.
Exactly what Charlie did to Vic Perez this morning. You know, Charlie, Dave, now having a hard time getting games in New York City, not only because he's so good, but because he refuses to play with any ball other than the R for 8 ball.
18-75.
And these guys in New York are preparing for events played with the other ball and another ace. So Charlie said, you know, I've been just going to the AC, the New York Athletic
Second
Club,
timeout.
and hitting 500 serves a day. In between, Dave, those 500 serves, he hits 250. He goes to the gym and does wind sprints for half an hour, comes back in and hits another 250 serves. Then, Dave, he cools down on the treadmill for an hour. I mean, this is just a day in the life, Dave, of Charlie Shanks, and you can see it's paying off now.
Now, Charlie Shanks looks like he is on turbo boost here, playing incredibly charged up handball, and this is the Charlie Shanks that we saw at that Jake Plummer event to start the race season last year before Natti Alvarado stopped him. And then, of course, at the U.S. Open, a couple weeks later, he made it to the finals there and did so well, but then leveled off. This is that sort of focus that we've missed from Charlie Shanks with this hard ball, and he's proven that he can play with this, Dave.
Well, Dave, the best offense, or excuse me, Dave, the best defense is most times a good offense, and Andy Nett has not been able to influence Charlie in any way. He hasn't been able to put any offense together. So it's just Charlie Shanks' offense against Andy Nett's retrieving. Offense is always going to beat one-dimensional retrieving. Andy Nett has not gotten on any kind of roll in the server's box. He hasn't put any pressure on Charlie. Charlie's getting taken out of the box, but then quickly back in by earning side outs. Andy Nett with no ace serves except for the first 3 serves that he's hit. He hasn't hit any since then. And it's been one-way traffic here.
19 serves 5.
You heard the score there, 19-5. Charlie just 6 points away from advancing to the semifinals, and there's a side out.
You see Charlie going behind himself, serving to the left. It seems, Dave, even for the pro players, it's very difficult to control the serve behind yourself to the left for right-handers. You either hit that short or it's 5 feet longer than you want it to be, and it's a big back wall setup. How, Dave, as a server, do you try and control that serve that goes behind you? It's easy to control the ball going on the strong side, as we just saw Charlie do, but it just seems like when you serve behind yourself, very difficult to find that range. Is that just a matter of practice, or is there a technique there?
There's a little bit of technique, and that technique takes away some of your power. And that technique is that you keep your head down and you go from your left shoulder,
second serve,
where your chin starts, to your right shoulder, and even end with your chin touching your right shoulder. That'll keep your head down, that'll keep the ball down, and it'll give you some control, but you lose some power. But the real trick is you tell yourself that you're going to hit your backside in the air with the ball, and really in reality you're not going to really hit yourself with the ball because it's almost impossible to try to do. But you're telling yourself that I'm going to try to see if I can hit my butt when I serve this ball, and that'll keep it closed there. You're actually having to thread the needle behind yourself. If you go too wide, the ball will actually come out the revolving door, and it's a huge setup. So you have to try to keep it behind yourself with a little natural hook, having it fade away into the deep corner.
But how difficult is it, Dave, when you go and practice at home?
6 serving 20.
The court conditions in the ball might be completely different than they are in a tournament. So balls that are crossing the line in practice may be 2 feet short in a tournament.
Well,
you might have a faster court that you practice on at home, or vice versa.
Well, no, you just have to have the confidence in yourself to know how to make an adjustment after one serve.
20 serving 6.
You know, some players that come out here, we saw this with Abraham Montijo earlier today. He's got a really good serve, but he just lacked a whole bunch of confidence on these panel walls. He plays on concrete, and he came in there and he couldn't locate his serve. He has to have more confidence, saying,
21,
you know, when I play on these panel walls, this is what I need to do. And even though he went in and practiced an hour before his match, it didn't help because he didn't practice his serve. You might want to go in and practice your serve on a different surface. And there's another kill shot from Charlie Shanks.
We talked, Dave, a lot today about the parity in pro handball. We saw Anthony Celesto, an unranked, never having qualified player, taking out the #1 player, Sean Lenning. We saw Chip Morales take out Aaron Garner. Aaron had never qualified before. And then, Dave, on the bottom half, you see all the seeds not only winning, but dominating. I mean, Charlie Shanks dominates Victor Perez. Andy Nett dominates Abe Montijo. Now Charlie Shanks dominating Andy Nett, right in line with the rankings.
Side out.
You don't expect to see, Dave, the number 3 ranked pro, number 3 ranked pro just dismantling the number 6 ranked pro, but that's what's happening here. 23-6, Dave. I mean, Andy Nett losing this badly, Dave. Is this the equivalent of a pro golfer shooting 85?
Yeah.
I mean, what in the Ricky Fowler is going on here? That's a little obscure for you, I know, but nonetheless.
7 serving 23.
Oh, and Charlie with one of the most awkward swings, Dave, I've ever seen. That will not be on the highlight reel. It will be on the blooper reel. And I think just for our own entertainment, we're going to take an instant replay of that last swing, Dave, to show you that even the pros look awkward sometimes.
Nice person.
Well, I'm just trying to make the average handball Joe feel good. Oh, beautiful kill shot from Charlie. And here's that swing here from Charlie.
It even looked better in
23 serving
super slow-mo.
And please do have that queued up throughout the rest of the day here. Continue to analyze
that's another
that
thing
swing.
Charlie's going to be upset about.
Well, Charlie works for IBM, but it acts as though he's never been on a computer before to see a match. So
24 serving 8.
Or read his emails and talk about the format.
And that's it, Dave. Charlie Shanks just crushes Andy Nett. Now these guys have played 3 times. Charlie Shanks just destroying Andy 2 of those 3. And in the other matchup, it's Andy Nett winning. But now it's Charlie Shanks advancing, Dave. He's in the semifinals. He's going to face the winner of, or actually he will be facing Alan Garner, and that is already set.
Hopefully we can get Charlie Shanks into this booth, and we do have Alan Garner up against Charlie Shanks in that semifinals. Now we're going to determine who Nadi Alvarado is going to play. Is it going to be Aaron Garner, brother of Alan, or is it going to be Anthony Celesto? That match is coming up next. But before that happens, hopefully we can get our correspondent Chip Morales, our alternate in Seattle from last year, to go find Charlie Shanks so he can get in here for an interview.
Charlie is sitting there in the front row.
Charlie Shanks will sit down with you, Dave Fink. And hopefully Dave will make this one brief so Charlie can get down on ice.
I'd like to welcome in Charlie Shanks. Charlie, dominating win there for you. You lost to Andy for 5th place in Tucson. Was there a measure of revenge on your mind? You had revenge this morning on Victor Perez and now revenge on Andy Nett.
Yeah, it's a revenge weekend.
Well, you look really good in there, Charlie. I know you've been working on your game a lot. You just never let the Dreamboat get on track. I mean, you dominated from start to finish.
Yeah, I couldn't have, like early on in the game, you seen when Andy got into that service box and he rolled off 4 good aces, 4-0 up, and if I didn't, if I didn't start working him during the rallies and, taking advantage whenever I get into the box, then he was going to sail away, into a 10-0 lead easily. So I had to up the pressure on him, work him during the rallies, and then hopefully that would take the wind out of him for his serve.
We were talking about the difference between your serve and Andy's serve. Both of you guys very similar physically. What is the difference between your serve and Andy's? Are you hitting with more spin? Are you hitting the serve a little bit lower on the front wall? Or do you think they're pretty similar?
Andy, yeah, he's got a great serve down the right. Suppose when you compare our serving games, they're very similar. If he doesn't, like today, he doesn't spend enough time in the box, his serve goes off, and it's the same with me. Your serve is hard. Once you get into the zone, it's easy to run off the ace serves, but whenever you're not in that service box, spend any 3 or 4 consecutive serves in there, then it's hard to get your serve going. And Andy, I think that's where Andy struggled today.
Well, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., you're going to be taking on the blonde bombshell, Alan Garner. You two have a long history of great matches that have gone back and forth, a lot of very close tiebreakers. What do you expect tomorrow from Alan, who had a walkover today? He hasn't played much handball yet in this event.
Well, Alan's all, again, same here, practicing in the court number 2. So, yeah, Alan is, Alan's Alan, everyone knows he's a steady player. He can really flatten balls off the back wall. So I've got to, turn up the pressure on him and work him whenever, basically do everything I get done today. I get my serve on, and when I get an opportunity to flatten the ball and, try and keep him out of the match, because, he's 2 good hands and he can flatten the ball from any part of the court, Do
you go into matches with these top pros with a game plan, or do you just go in trying to impose your own game? I mean, Alan's certainly a different player than Andy, but will your mentality be the same, or will you have a different wrinkle maybe in your game plan for Alan?
No, you kind of, every player has their weakness, so you're aware of their weaknesses. There's maybe 1 or 2 areas where you think they're pretty weak. And then you focus on your own game, playing your own game. Get your serve on, get your kills, and play a tight game during the rallies. You don't want to be given any setups. Pushing back on using the roof. So you want to, that's my game. I'm going to stick at that, and I'm aware of one or two weaknesses of Alan, and I'll be trying to exploit them whenever I get the opportunity.
Now, on the top half of the draw, I'm going to ask you just for a minute your thoughts on Anthony Celesto taking out the #1 seed, Sean Lenning, earlier today. I mean, have you ever seen in all your years of playing handball, I know that you've played in Ireland mostly, now you've been here, have you ever seen a bigger upset in the history of the sport than that?
I don't think it's a massive, a massive upset. I can understand what happens. The qualifiers are there. They've got a couple of games under their belt. The day previous to go home, they've qualified. They're full of, they're full of life. They're ready to go. This is their moment. They've qualified, and they go home, go back to the hotel, get a good night's sleep, and they're all raring to go the next day. With who they're playing. So whereas with the pro, they're coming in and they're hoping just to, get through the first round and break themselves in. So it's kind of, those players are already in the zone, and the top player is trying to find his rhythm. And whenever you compare it to, like, it's a one-game format, so you can't lose the first game and then have it reset. That's it. You're out. So whereas in normal circumstances, you can regroup after losing the first game and come back and win the second and tiebreaker. So it's the format definitely lends itself to being advantageous towards the qualifier.
Well, Charlie, I want to thank you for sitting down and talking with me for a couple of minutes here. I know you're looking forward to watching the senior race for 8.
Absolutely, yeah.
As well as the rest of the matches here this weekend. So
I'm hoping
to catch courtside.
I'm hoping to catch Jimmy play. I know Jimmy London's here. And
yeah, he's actually
it's great to see him back on the circuit again, and that's what the senior tour brings.
Yeah.
So it's great to see London around these tournaments again.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, congratulations on your win. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central Time for your semifinal clash against Alan Garner.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Cheers. David Fink for Dave Vincent and the rest of the WPH. We're going to take just about a 5-minute break. Come back with Aaron Garner taking on Anthony Celesto, the A-Train. You stay tuned.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1970,